way cash crisis works. Talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor into the thing on there called monetary awareness.
All right. Checking in for a midday RTD news update. So, came across some very interesting, or a very interesting headline that I wanted to bring to your attention real quick, and then also get your thoughts on this current, what appears to be rally happening in the gold and silver market, and could this actually be something to pay attention to, or is this just a little bit of hype before there's a major slam down, like always? But I have some thoughts that I wanted to bring to you guys real quick. And of course, check in. As I mentioned last night, wanted to just try to stream a little earlier if I could. And so made sure I could do that this afternoon, but won't be long. But just wanted to share with you a interesting AI rendered photo that really got me to thinking about this current rally. And so here I am now. I want to just check in for a quick minute. Hopefully things go smoothly. Let me know in the chat if the audio is good or not. I see I'm glitching a little bit, but nothing I can do about that. So I won't be long, but I hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, got a lot of interesting responses from the live stream last night in reference to those political candidates. And so over on the Rumble channel. So if you guys want to see some emotional comments and thoughts, go over to the Rumble channel and check those comments out there. But anyway, let's jump right in, man. So it's just a graph that caught my attention that made me want to share my 2 cents on it, as well as this little picture here. So I couldn't help but comment on this one, just because this is very, I guess, interesting to say the least. But this is from, I believe, a crypto individual, and he entitled it up. He said, "Gold hits 2022 an ounce, making a run at an all-time new high." And then it says, "Crack open the prune juice. Gold bugs deserve this." And so it just basically shows what looks like a older gentleman excited at the current price action with metals. And so I thought this was something worthwhile. But let me just turn to another chart that is very telling. And I'll move myself out the way here so you guys can see this current rally from a different perspective. So let me get this in the frame here. So here we got gold spot. And what really stood out to me that made me wanted to log in real quick and talk about this, just because this type of action is not typical. And so it's really an indication to me as to what's really happening behind the scenes. And of course, it all has to do with the current debt trajectory and the unsustainability of it. So I got a headline I want to share with you in a minute, shining more light on that. But just look at this graph right here. We're looking at 2000s, and this is, as of yesterday's close. And so here's the date, the 28th. And as you can see, it's 2015, got around 8 a.m. in the morning, somewhat of a slam down to 2012. And then from there, it just shot up. And it's a very small, this is very small in nature, but it's not common in USD terms. And so as of right now, it's 230-ish, and it's starting to turn over a little bit. But once again, I remember me and Mario talking about this type of activity a couple of weeks ago. And, one of the things that, came out of that discussion was, once gold breaks out, the indication that things are literally breaking down. And what would really be the defining moment for the actual financial collapse that everyone talks about. And I remember posing a question to him as to, like, how would you actually define the financial collapse, whatever that is? So it's become a very vague topic, just because there's always been some type of event that could lead to a systemic financial event. But then again, there's more can kicking. And we left that conversation there, basically saying that the moment gold breaks out in all-time highs in USD terms, that right there could be the catalyst that leads to that true definition or defining of what we will consider a financial collapse. Because ultimately speaking, if I was to do the inverted chart of this, the USD fiat is definitely trending downwards. And I might just do that in a moment just to give you an idea as to what I'm referring to. But, I wanted to check in real quick. So in your opinion, what are you guys thinking? Is this just, a hype hump in the USD terms, or is this something that could turn into be a lot more in the days ahead? And I also, let me go to, I was scanning through the Twitter sphere, looking at a lot of different commentary, and it's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. And so, beyond this picture here that I wanted to use as a thumbnail because I thought it was exciting to use just for the sake of this show here, but a lot of interesting thoughts being shared. So I'll scroll up to the top real quick and just chime a little light on some of them. A lot of individuals I've had a chance to interview, so that's why I follow a lot of these guys because they, drop some knowledge. But gold mining supply from TRS Rocco. What do we got here? It says silver keeps going for what it's worth, not breaking the monthly downward slope resistance. Then we got Patrick here talking about the Sprott physical gold and silver ETF fund. So a lot of activity over there. And so, of course, people are concerned with silver. Says there it is, more chart fun. So it shows silver breaking out earlier today. And what else we got here? A lot of other thoughts. And there's a couple of different, some Peter Schiff's tweets in here that I wanted to share as well. Let me get it to it real quick. Let me see if I can find them. They probably won't. So here's another little from Jamie. It says gold and silver were the best performers through the stagflation period that was needed to cleanse the credit bubble and follow the nifty 50 period. So could we be in that same type of environment again? We will find out. Looks like it's been refreshed. So here we know. Here's a little thought from Peter Schiff. It said gold stock investors have been completely wrong about gold, which is now trading near 2040, about 1% below its record high. Yet gold stocks need to rally about 50% to get back to their 2020 highs. To revisit the 2011 highs, GDX must double, and the GDXJ must almost 5 times. So I see a lot of different perceptions here on what's happening. Here's TF Meadows. It says, now will be a good time to point out that never in recorded history of mankind has spot gold finished a calendar month above 2,000 an ounce. And so that is true in and of itself. So where does this take us from this point? That's what I wanted to kind of comment on. So at this current moment, we're watching the breakdown. Says Lobos said, look at the Dixie. LBP, I really don't look at the Dixie like that just because it's a trade weighted basket of fiat. And of course, it might be going up along with gold or down. That's an important factor for those who actually want to dive into that. But I personally, I don't go that far just because, once again, it's all fiat in nature. But all those same currencies that's in that basket that makes up the fiat standard, they're all ultimately at this current moment trading. The fiat currencies are trading downward. Therefore, gold is trading at all-time highs in all those currencies. So I think it's seven or so different currencies in that basket of the Dixie, and so they're all trading. Gold is trading at all-time highs in all those currencies. So what does that mean for us? We got the Federal Reserve currency, so it's going to give us a lifeline for however long. But I'm just talking in reference to the actual spot price of gold. But I get what you're saying, though. Let me see what else here. Okay, so there's more thoughts here. All right, so let me get to what I wanted to. Let me see if I can real quick. I wanted to just show the inverted charts of some of this activity I'm referring to here. So on the screen, if you guys can see, if I move myself out the way, let me get myself out the way here. So we'll take a look at some of those same currencies that we were talking about. So here's gold. Let me go back to gold here. So this is gold, and of course in USD terms. And this is what I focus on more than anything else, just because this is, the Federal Reserve note, aka the dollar, is the last and the biggest honcho out of them all. But as we can see here, the 20-year trajectory of what's happening, it's but looking very favorable as of this current moment for gold. And let me see if I can grab, I gotta use a different website. Let me go to a different, no, I should have been prepared, so I'm not gonna do that one. But anyway, you guys get my drift. All right, so let me get to this headline real quick that I wanted to share that could explain a little bit more as to why the gold price is rallying outside of all the other mainstream hype. So this is a article that I came across not long ago, and I thought it was very interesting because it has to do with the current debt market. And I was also thinking about President Xi, his visit here a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and how since then things have seemed to be somewhat different. So, of course, we had the OpenAI issue, which we kind of touched on a little bit last night, but then also the fact that gold has been touching 2000 for the last couple of days, aka borderline a week plus. And there's, of course, been some resistance. There's been some type of, whenever the market closes in the US here, it's a slam down. Okay, of course. But now, the last couple of days, for it to be above 2000 and to be trending even higher makes me wonder as to what was probably talked about or what came about from that meeting or what didn't go right in the US for the US, rather, to where now we're witnessing the difficulty that the market makers, aka the paper traders, are perhaps having in slamming down these prices by trying to dump, paper contracts onto the market that is probably getting a lot of resistance from the Eastern markets, because in the Eastern world, they're taking physical. So it's only so much of that paper pushing you can do before you got to come to the table with something real. So we'll find out more. But here's an interesting article that came out today, this afternoon, from Semaphore. And so not sure of this news source, but it was just very interesting as to this current rally in metals, with the fact that U.S. Treasuries is not the most sought after pristine collateral that it used to be, on top of all the other debt that's coming. So just this title alone caught my attention. So it says, nobody wants U.S. Treasury bonds. And I'm not surprised one bit, to say the least. But it goes into a little bit of history. And says basically the government keeps borrowing to cover its budget deficits, while once reliable buyers of that debt, both at home and abroad, have pulled back. And then it gives an interesting graph here. It says the result, investors are demanding the steepest yields since 2007. Auctions of fresh bonds that were once routine are now going terribly. And bond portfolios are getting absolutely hammered. The longest dated Treasury bonds are in a bear market worse than the dot-com bust and almost as bad as 2008. And so it gives a little bit of an illustration as to what the author is referring to here, the grizzly bear. It says how the bond route stacks up against past bear markets. And so we got the 2008, we got the dot-com, and then we got this current Treasury bond route that's taking place now. And it's putting the U.S. in a very bad predicament, because our economy, as you all know, won't be able to function if Uncle Sam can't go out and buy and find some new flunkies to buy that debt. And with gold currently rallying the way that it is, to me, it tells me that, on top of the whole Basel III situation from 2 years ago and all the activity happening out east, is that the world is running towards something else. And of course, it's not saying that the U.S. debt is not going to be utilized, because it is the staple of the current monetary structure. But then again, it's going to have a lot of potentially harmful side effects, especially within our borders at some time in the near future. And so here's just more interesting graphs here, just painting a very dark and doomy picture for our government debt here. So anyway, just this is just some things here. I'll link this if you guys want to actually read it and dive into it further. But this is kind of what caught my attention this afternoon. Wanted to just share with you these visual aids here and get your thoughts on whether or not this rally is something that will be sustained, or will they be able to slam this thing down the way they always have. So time will tell. TB says gold going up is only hype. When the dollar goes up to 120 and gold bounces to 100 USD a day is when the fireworks began. Okay, so that's an opinion there. And so as far as, whether or not it's hype or not, I personally don't think it's hype, just because I know, and my personal belief is that gold is the pinnacle of the monetary structure, and everything on top of it is what this financial illusion has been based upon, all the paper, digital derivatives of some sort. And so the fact that the world has already chosen gold as the safe haven asset to run to, just based upon activity already stated that we've been talking about forever, and how everybody's running towards that standard there for themselves, lets me know that, in USD terms, it could be a temporary, some temporary hot air, but then ultimately there's going to come a day of reckoning. And then what? Like, I wouldn't want to be the nation not having gold in my reserves and when everything is all said and done. So, but I get your drift though. What else we got here? Not sure. Yeah. Anyway, a quick check-in, man. So for those who are here, definitely hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Want to just bring some thoughts to you this afternoon, and I'll try to get something else in and do a little live talk for those who want to comment and share their thoughts on this via the phone line. So we'll be back at it. I'm trying to do another one in a couple hours, whatever. It's been a while since I've done 2 a day or more. So got some time today. So looking forward to hopefully getting it done. Anyway, everybody be blessed, be safe, and we'll be back at it later, Lord willing. And of course, always leave your thoughts in the comment section.